Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second part of our lesson. I'm going to review our essential question, which is what are the three different types of solutions for a basic equation and how do you tell them apart? So we're going to have a couple more definitions we're going to go over in this section. Our first one is the word term, and that is a number, a variable, I can't spell, sorry, a product of numbers and or variables, or a quotient of numbers and or variables. They are separated by plus and minus signs. So really quick, let's talk about these two words. Product means what? Multiplication, good. And quotient means division, good. So I just want to review, make sure you know that. So it's a number or a variable. So an example, I'm going to write them down as we talk about them. A number, which could be like 17. A variable, which could be like Z. I don't know, I'm just making this up. A product of numbers or variables, so that could be like 8x squared, okay? Or a quotient of numbers and variables, which could be like, let's see, b over 4. That's a good one. And then between them, when we're talking about an expression, we have plus or minus signs. So remember we talked about expressions in the last video. So if I had 17 plus z plus 8x squared minus b over 4, each one of these individually is a term, not together. So I have 4 terms in this expression. So I hope that helps out a little bit, talking about a term. Now we're going to talk about combining like terms. So in the word combining like terms, we kind of broke it down into 2 different pieces. So like terms have the same variable raised to the same power. So that would be like x squared and x squared are like terms. They both have to have an x squared in them. I can't combine an x squared and an x because they're not raised to the same power. And combining like terms is adding or subtracting those terms to get together. Okay? So I know that you guys have done that. So we are going to practice though. So here we go. Simplify. They just want me to simplify it. Notice that there's no equal signs, so I don't have to solve it. I just have to simplify it. So on the first one, I want to find my like terms. And remember, it's the same variable raised to the same power. So I'm going to start with 5a squared, and I'm just going to kind of underline my first one. 5a squared and a squared give me what? 5a squared plus a squared gives me 6a squared. Beautiful. And then I have 3a and negative 7a. Same variable to the same power. So 3a minus 7a is negative 4a. And I'm done. Because there's no equal sign, I don't have to solve. That's all we're doing is just simplifying. So on our second problem here, I have some parentheses with something outside the parenthesis, which means I need to do what? Distribute. Great. So I'm going to distribute the negative sign. I'm distributing whatever is touching the parenthesis. The 9 is not touching the parenthesis because there's something between the parenthesis and the 9, which is the negative sign, which actually means that I have a negative 1 right there. So I'm distributing a negative 1, basically. So I've got 8x minus 9, and negative 1 times 7 is negative 7, and negative 1 times negative 5 is positive 5x. And now I'm going to do exactly what I did on the last problem. I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have an 8x and a 5x, and then I have a negative 9 minus 7. Ooh, sorry about that. I cut off my 7 there. But I just want to pause for a second. Well, let's do this. 8x plus 5x is 13x. And then I want to pause for a minute because some people say, well, -9 and -7 are not the same, but they are. Constants, which are just a number, those are like terms. You guys have been adding constants since you started math, right? You started adding in first grade-ish, somewhere in there. So, right, those are just numbers. I can add any numbers together as long as there's no variable. So -9 minus 7 is -16. Okay, there we go, that's it. And now, I guess for the hardest one, because we have a couple different parentheses in here. So I want to start always, if I have parentheses nested inside of parentheses, nested inside of parentheses. And sometimes they look at like brackets. People write them differently so you can tell where they end at. I always start on the inside, so I nest. So you always start from the inside and you work your way out. So I know that I'm going to be distributing this -3 through. And inside this big mess here, I'm going to distribute this -5 first. So I have -3 times b is -3b, and -3 times 2 is -6. And then I have a minus and a bracket here. I'm just going to write it as a parenthesis. 9, and -5 times 8b is -40b, and -5 times -1 is +5. Parenthesis. Now I can do two things. I can simplify what's in the parenthesis first, or I can distribute this negative through. I can take this negative and distribute it through, and then combine my like terms, and I think I'm going to do that. So I've got -3b minus 6. Please don't forget to write down exactly what we're not multiplying by, so I have all my terms there. So -9 plus 40b minus 5. Now I'm going to find my like terms. So same variable, -3b and 40b, and then I've got my constants right here. Okay, there we go. So -3b plus 40b is 37b. And then I've got -9 minus 6 is -15, minus 5 is -20. Okay, not too bad, right? Okay, so you're going to practice in a few minutes. You're going to do some problems in the Nearpod that will help you practice that, and you're just going to type in the answer. So last two problems says solve, and it says be sure to check. Because if we're solving an equation, we should be able to check and see if we've got our answer correct. And again, I have parentheses, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute that through. So I've got 8x minus 3x plus 5 equals 40. So I want to pause for a second here. I have like terms on one side of my equal sign. So if I could, well, I'm just going to highlight it. So this side here is an expression. If I don't take in the equal sign, this is an expression, which means I just combine my like terms. So I combine my like terms, which is this, which is this one and this one. Those are like terms. I'm not going to change the signs. I'm just going to combine them together. So 8x minus, because they're on the same side, I only like add or subtract if I'm trying to move something from one side of the equal sign to the other side of the equal sign. And since these two are on the same side of the equal sign, I don't have to do that. I just need to combine them together. I need to combine my like terms. So 8x minus 3x is 5x plus 5 equals 40. And now to move this 5 to the other side of the equal side, I'm going to subtract 5. Okay, so I've got 5x equals 35. Divide by 5. X is going to equal 7. Beautiful. Okay, and then I can check it. I can plug it back in. I'll go ahead and do that so we can see. So I've got 8 times 7 minus 3 times 7 minus 5 equals 40. So I want to basically work on this side. So 8 times 7 is 56, I think, minus 21 minus 5. So 56 minus 16, which is 40. And does 40 equal 40? Yep, it equals each other. So if you check your work and plug your answer back into the original equation, and it's true, then you got the right answer and you got it right. If you plug it in and you don't get it, that it's true, then you did something wrong when you were trying to solve it. So it's just a nice, quick, easy way to check to make sure you get it right. Okay, so now let's talk about this last problem, which is kind of your favorite thing to do. Let's just say that. It's fractions, right? So we're gonna do what we can to solve this equation. So I am going to distribute first. I'm going to distribute these fractions into there. So 1/4 times 6t is 6t divided by 4. And 1/4 of 48 is 12 minus 20. And then 1/3 equals 1/3 of 4t, or 4t minus, oh, let me rewrite that. That was horrible. Sorry. Minus 4t divided by 3. Okay. Plus 3 goes into 72, 24 times. Plus 24. And it's a plus because a negative divided by a negative, or a negative times a negative is a positive, okay? So now I still have two fractions that I kind of hate, right? So I am going to multiply the whole thing by my common denominator. What does both 4 and 12 go into? Sorry, 4 and 3 go into, I just gave you the answer, 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 12 and I'm going to multiply it by everything. I'm going to distribute it. So then I get 6 times 12. Oh, well, sorry. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 3 times 6 is 18t. No more fraction. Plus 12 times 20. 12 times 12. Wow, I'm having a rough day. 12 times 12 is 144, and 12 times negative 20 is negative 240. And then 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 4 times 4 is negative 16t. And 12 times 24 is 288. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and combine my like terms on this side right here. Make my equation look a little prettier anyways. So I've got 18 18t minus 96 equals negative 16t plus 288. Okay, so I'm going to add 16 to both sides. And I'm also going to add 96 to both sides. Okay? So I took the 16 this way, and I took the 96 this way. So 18 plus 16 is 34t. And then that's 0. And this is 0. And this is 0. And this is 384. Okay, divide by 34, divide by 34. T is going to equal 192 divided by 17. And it's an ugly fraction, but that's my answer. And no, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to plug it back in and check the answer because it's kind of ugly. But this ends the second part of our video. We'll see you back for the last part in just a minute. Talk to you soon. Bye.